Today is another automation video. Today we are talking about reverb automation and using reverb with your automation to create dynamics and bringing your reverbs in when you want them to. Let's jump into it. Alright, so here we are in Logic Pro X and I have this drum track here. And the first thing I want you guys to do is I want to let you listen to this drum track to see how it sounds. Take a listen. Okay, that's the drum track. Simple 4-bar beat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually use some automation to bring our reverb into the mix. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. Okay guys, so I have talked about this a bunch on my channel about how to use your reverbs before we get into the automation part of this. So pretty much what I want to do is I have our drums here on this track, and the first thing I want to do is actually send our reverb to a bus. So we're going to open up our sends here and we're going to send it to bus 3. Now what that did is it created a bus somewhere down here. So we're going to scroll down here on our mixer and it's right here, our bus. The next thing we have to do is come back to where we sent it, and there's this little knob here. And what we have to do is drag this up. And what that's going to do is send the drum signal to that bus we created. So now if we come back to our bus we created over here, we should see some signal passing through. Take a listen. You see, as soon as I played the track, it started sending the signal to that bus. So now what I want to do is pick a reverb that we can use to on that bus. So I think what we're going to use is Space Designer, one of my favorite plugins inside of Logic Pro X, reverb plugins. Now let me tell you why we actually you always want to send your reverbs to a bus. The reason why you always want to send your reverb to a bus is because it saves on CPU power on your computer. And it doesn't take up CPU power on your track. Because the thing is, you're going to be using other plugins on your main tracks, like EQ, compression, all of that. So all of your effects should be sent to a bus. Never use them on your main audio track. Always send them to a bus because you're going to be using so many other plugins on your regular audio tracks. And using those other plugins are already taking up CPU power. So by sending them to a bus, you save it, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use a reverb and what reverb preset to pick, and then we're going to jump right into the automation to show you how to use reverb with automation. Here we go. Okay, now let's talk about what type of reverb to use, like what type of preset. Now, when you're using reverb on drums, one of the good presets to use is a room reverb. And the reason why is because when you record drums in like a big room in one of those like professional recording studios, you know, you want a big sound. So that's why they record them in big rooms. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for a room reverb here. So let's go to room presets, which is right here, and let's pick the best one. Now, the key to picking a reverb is to search through a bunch of them until you pick the best one that's going to fit your mix, okay? Don't just pick a random reverb, go in and say, oh, this one looks good. Go through a bunch of them, pick the best one that's going to fit your mix, okay? So let's try the first one up here and see how this sounds. Okay, pretty good, not too like big or like echoey, so I like that. It actually sounds pretty good, but like I said, don't just go with the first one you pick. Go through and see what else is there. So let's try the live chamber next. Okay, so that one sounds pretty good too. I can tell that the snare is getting a little bit like tangy in there. I don't know if that's a word, but it literally sounds like that. So we might go back to the bright chamber, but let's just try one more. Here we go. Okay, so that one sounds a little bit more dry to me. So I really liked the bright chamber. So we're gonna go back to that one. All right, let's take a listen again. All right, we're gonna bring up the reverb a little bit more to see where we can at a good level. Okay, that sounds great to me. All right, so now we have our reverb, now what we gotta do is we gotta use our automation to actually see what part of the song we wanna put this reverb into. So let's do that right now. Okay guys, so pretty much what we did is we picked our reverb, we picked our preset. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how to use the automation to actually use reverb in your track. Now the key to this is what I want to do is I don't want to use the automation and the reverb throughout the entire track. I only want to use it in certain places. So we're going to zoom out here on the track and we're going to open up to make it bigger. And I only want to use the reverb on the first part. So pretty much to write this 2 bars here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cut it right here, the track, because I only wanna use the first 2 bars, actually 3 bars. So pretty much what I did is since we have our reverb on this track right here below it, we're gonna make this bigger. And what we wanna do is open up our automation, which is right here. And pretty much what I want to do is use the automation here on the track in the first beginning. So now the reason why I want to use it only in the first part and not the full thing is because when you're mixing, and the way to create dynamics in your mix is to only use reverb, delays, all these special effects on certain parts in your mix. Because that is how you keep your mix interesting, and that's how you keep your mix to have dynamics. You only use effects in certain parts because that's how you keep your mix interesting and you keep people coming back for more, because then they're like, oh, something changed here. This sounds bigger. That sounds more exciting. That's how you keep people coming back for more. So once the reverb comes in here and then it drops out here in the second part, people are going to be like, oh, what happened to the reverb? See, it keeps people interested and they keep it coming back for more of your music. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to do this right now. Okay guys, so we have our automation all set up here, our tracks. We have our automation open, like I said. Then what we did is we came to our automation track down here, our bus, and we clicked on here and we went to Smart Controls and Bypass Space Designer. Now what we're going to do is we are going to actually draw in the automation where we want the reverb to stop playing on the drums. So like I said, I want it to stop playing right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a dot here and we're going to drag up. And then as you can see, it says mute. And the reason it says mute is because I want the reverb to mute as soon as it gets to this second part of the drums. So remember, this part of the drums is going to have the reverb, and then this part of the drums is going to mute the reverb. So take a listen. It's a little hard to hear, but as soon as it got to that one part, it actually muted the reverb and took it out. So that's how automation works. And this is how you create dynamics in your mix. Is you want stuff to come in and out of the mix. You want stuff to move. You want stuff to pan across to the side. This is how you create mixes, and this is how you keep your mix exciting, by using automation to do this type of stuff. And it's how you create dynamics in your mix. Automation is one of my favorite things to do when mixing. But one of the tips to do is to not use automation until the very end. Do everything else and then use your automation, because you want to literally use your automation at the very end. And the reason why is because if you use it towards the middle, you're not going to be able to move anything, because you're going to try and use the automation, but it's not going to move the tracks. It's going to be hard to do. So use it at the very, very end. It should be the last thing you do. But guys, try this tip out for yourselves. Bring your reverbs in, bring them out, bring delays in, bring delays out. Pan your tracks to the side with automation. There's a million things you can do. So this is the next video on reverb. Automation, because we're going through an automation series, guys. So the next video on automation is I'm going to show you guys how to use delay with automation. And then the next video will be how to sweeten your mix with automation too. Okay? Let me know in the comments if there is any other automation videos you want me to do, or if there's any other series you want me to do on this channel too. Okay? Okay guys, I hope you learned a lot today about using automation to control your reverbs in your mix, and I hope they helped a lot today. Remember guys, whenever you watch one of my videos, make sure you're writing down these tips and these tips for you guys, because I want you guys to learn. And remember, if you guys learned a lot today and you enjoyed this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up to support the channel. It really helps a lot. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Keep making great music, and I hope you're learning a lot of this channel, and I hope I can literally give you guys the answers that you need. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'm always read your guys' comments, and I always write you guys back, giving you guys the best answers that I can to help you out. So leave your comments down below. I love to read them. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Keep making great music, and I'll see you guys in the next video next Friday. Thank you for everything. You guys are the best.